Welcome to another episode of Roll Up a Pull Up. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured. Tap in, tap the fuck in. Hey, I might have fucked up said episode, but it's a live stream. Y'all know what it is. Tap in, tap the fuck in. I gotta light up for this one. This some real shit. You feel me? Tap in, tap the fuck in. Alright, so this one gonna be about the streets versus a job. Tap in, tap the fuck in. I don't know. A lot of y'all wasn't raised the way I was raised. But I'm gonna tell you the real game on how this shit go for real. Tap in, tap the fuck in. In my hood growing up, it was either the streets or a job. And you know what 90% of niggas in the hood took? The streets. Tap in, tap the fuck in. Also, I'm gonna tell y'all the flip side of having a job and how you benefit from having a job. Tap in, tap the fuck in. Now look, I don't promote no street shit. I'm just giving y'all my past experiences that I've been through. And hopefully you will learn something from it. Tap in, tap the fuck in. Alright, let's get it. So, first and foremost, right? When I was growing up in my hood, in like the late 90s, early 2000s, basically everybody that had a job was the lames. You know what I'm saying? Them was the squares. If you had a job, you was a loser. You was a bum. You can't keep up with the streets, so you got to work a job. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy how it went, but that's what it was. So basically, if you wasn't in the streets hustling, you wasn't no real nigga. You know what I'm saying? After Tolman, what's the deal? Tap in, tap the fuck in. Listen, right? To everybody that been in the streets, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, if you wasn't in the streets, you was a nobody. You know what I'm saying? You had to stay your ass in the house with the workers and let all the street niggas run the streets and fuck with the hoes and all of that type of shit. You wasn't even allowed to come outside if you worked a job. You know what I'm saying? It was like the streets was just for street niggas. You know what I'm saying? Now don't get me wrong. Of course you can still come outside, shit like that. It was just known that the streets was for hustling niggas. And basically all the women in the hood, they didn't like working ass niggas. They like the drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So basically, back in that time, it was the drug dealers that was running everything. All the women wanted the drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? Didn't nobody want no hard working man because it's like you devoting your life to working. You don't got no time to be at home with your girl and your kids and shit like that because you always out working. So basically, while you at work, the drug dealer at home digging your girl. Now look, yeah, y'all might see this white smoke coming out my mouth. It's 25 degrees out here. You know what I'm saying? But it was some good lightning, so I had to come out here and, shoot my move. Joe Blow, bro, I had enough. Everyone being a lying motherfucker, that's all it is. You know how you conquered it? Move on with yourself. Just do you. Don't fuck with nobody. Fuck with you. But what I was saying about the streets versus a job, right? So my point I'm making, when you was young, the streets was the thing to do. And if you wasn't in the streets, you wasn't no street nigga. You know what I'm saying? You was a lame. You was weak as hell. Wasn't no bitches giving you no pussy or none of that. You was just a lame that always worked all day. That's all you did was just be a lame. Little did we know, all of that being a lame shit, them was the smartest people. You know what I'm saying? But we didn't recognize that. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, we thought them motherfuckers just lame losers and shit. Don't get me wrong, I had a job too. I was working too, but I was also in the streets as well. So I'm coming from a perspective of niggas that just in the streets. They wasn't working. You know what I'm saying? So this is how they look down on people that did work. You know what I'm saying? Even the women. Because the women like that fast money. You know what I'm saying? They didn't respect a paycheck coming in every week. They wanted to see some money coming in every day. You know what I'm saying? So back in the day, if you was a worker, you was a loser. You know, it's sad to say, but you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm getting at with this, right? Roll up a power up. You know what it is? So look, what I'm gonna get at, right? You know, and I get to smoking, I get to running around in circles. But everything I say correlates and it all makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Now look, my whole point basically is this, right? All of the niggas that was in the streets when we was young, when we thought all that street shit was popping and that was the way to go, all of them niggas is dead or in jail. Or they working a regular job right now. And all those guys that grew up working jobs and was being lames and you know shit like that, them guys is up. They got businesses. You know what I'm saying? They got all type of contracts going on. They got CDLs. They license up the ass, credit through the roof. You know what I'm saying? They can go ahead and pull $100,000 loan out right now if they need to, if they want to, right now. And all them guys that was in the streets, either they don't got shit or they dead or in jail. Excuse me. Ain't that crazy how this shit go? It's kind of like the whole terminology of the tables turn, when the tables turn. And this is the perfect analogy of it. Because when you young, well, when I was young, growing up in my hood, the narrative was be a drug dealer. If you want to be successful in life, you got to be a drug dealer. That's how I was growing up in Detroit. Then we had all the Detroit rappers coming out. All of them was rapping about selling drugs and you know shit like that, toting guns, robbing people, all of that street shit. Claim your hood, claim your block, rep your set. You know what I'm saying? Throw your fingers up, let them know where you from, how you coming. All of that type of shit being on the block 24/7. So again, if you was working a job, you wasn't on the block. If you was working a job, you wasn't on the block. So if you was working a job and you couldn't be on the block, you couldn't be one of the guys. But I'm gonna tell you something. Because like I said, I had my daddy my whole life. So I was further ahead of them type of guys, you know what I'm saying? That just thought you had to be on the block all day. You got to be in the streets all day. And somehow, some way, still come up with the latest outfit, the newest shoes. You still had to be crispy to death every day and be on the block. Like, I don't know how the fuck niggas was doing that. Evidently, they had somebody that was spoiling them on the side, but that's how it was growing up. Niggas was on the block all day, and if you left the block because you went to go work a job, you was a lame. You know what I'm saying? You was a nobody. Listen, right? I go through the hood, through them blocks, all the time with them same niggas that was out there talking that shit. You had to be a street nigga. You had to be on the block. Niggas dead. Niggas in jail, serving long ass sentences. Can't even be on their block. Can't even hold their block down now. Or number three, they living a civilized life now. Now they got a job. This is how the tables turn. See, growing up in the hood, we taught wrong. We taught backwards. We taught that you go in the streets and you go get your money. We not taught to go work a job and be a wholesome man. You know what I'm saying? Part of the reason for that is the gentrification. You know what I'm saying? How they labeled us, how they put it. They had all this shit playing. You know what I'm saying? Like the hood and all that. They had all that shit playing. You know, I'm not making this a government fault or none of that. This is just what it is. You know, so basically, they put all these people in the community that's poor. They don't got no money. You know what I'm saying? And basically, it's like a damn jungle match. If all these people in this neighborhood don't got no money, what they gonna start doing? They gonna start killing each other. That's what the fuck was going on. You know what I'm saying? So in that type of setting, you taught to get out here and get in the streets because ain't no job gonna hire you because you poor, you from the ghetto, you stay in this neighborhood. When the job look at your address, they gonna see you stay in that neighborhood. They ain't not gonna hire you. They gonna look at you until you from this and this area, so they not gonna hire you. This how we was bred. You know what I'm saying? That these people don't fuck with us. So it's only you that got you. So what you need to do is get out here in the streets and do something. Whether if you need to sell some drugs, if you need to rob somebody, you need to kidnap somebody, whatever you need to do, get out here and do it because ain't nobody gonna pay you because of where you from, because of your skin tone, all of that type of shit. That's how we was raised in the hood. You know what I'm saying? So my whole point is that you train to run the streets because the people that was older than us, they didn't have no jobs. You know what I'm saying? They was either selling dope, scamming some shit, gang banging they damn selves, you know, food stamps, Section 8, you know, all this government assistance, child support, you know, things like that. So a lot of people didn't even have to work because they had so many government checks coming in. Because when you in poverty, you know what I'm saying, you get all of those type of benefits from the government. And even though them checks ain't shit, but it still be free money. You know what I'm saying? So these group of people, they don't want to do shit. They don't want to work and none of that. For what? When they bills gonna get paid for free, what they gonna work for? And the system noticed. This is how the hood was created for lazy people that don't want to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So with me growing up in a setting like that, but I told you I had both of my parents, my mama and my dad. You know what I'm saying? And we came from the poverty, but they didn't want that for me because they grew up in that. They didn't want that for me, so they moved to a better neighborhood, still in the same city, just was in a better neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? We ended up taking that shit over, and that's how that went. You know. But like I said, when we was growing up, that's how we was taught by the people that was older than us. Even in the new neighborhood that we moved into. When we moved from the poverty neighborhood, we moved to a middle class neighborhood. The poverty neighborhood was West Warren. You know what I'm saying? The middle class neighborhood we moved to was 7 Mile. It's about 10 hoods in between West Warren and 7 Mile. So we nowhere near each other, but it's still in the same city. You know, it's like a 10-15 minute drive, but it's nowhere near each other. You know what I'm saying? Even with the people that was staying in this middle class neighborhood, still had that mentality. And some of them did have jobs, but they was telling us like, nigga, you got to get out here and go make it happen. And then you would turn around and get you a job doing this or start you a business doing that. But you got to get out here and do something. Man, I'm blood keep going out. Listen, right? In the hood, that's how you taught. And that's why a lot of people in the hood get shot and killed every day. Because the streets don't got no love for nobody. Nobody. It's gonna wipe you and your crew out, and then the streets gonna bring in a new crew, a younger niggas than you and yours. And then they gonna wipe them niggas out and they gonna bring in another crew. That's how the streets work. So with me having both of my parents and knowing both sides of the fence, the poverty side and the middle class side, I'm like, shit, I'm gonna do what my parents do. Because my parents was working a job. They had to work jobs to pay for their mortgage and their bills and shit like that in this middle class neighborhood. Because everything over there was more expensive. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't no Section 8 neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So everything was more expensive. You know, they had to work jobs. And they stayed alive. They maintained. They lived a good life. And they didn't live in the hood. So after my daddy hooked me up with my uncle when I turned 12 years old, and I told you I was working with my uncle, from there on up, I'm like, I gotta have a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, the streets is cool for sure, but you really gotta have a job. You know what I'm saying? I haven't met not one successful street nigga, not one. And I know a lot of them. I know 60% of Detroit, and ain't none of them no successful street niggas. None of them. All the street niggas is either broke, starting all over, getting a job, dead, or in jail. And all of the niggas that had jobs, you know, that said fuck the streets, that shit was cool, but whatever, fuck that. When they got jobs and got serious, all them niggas got businesses now. You know what I'm saying? And living good lives. All of them is alive. All of them taking care of their kids. All of them got money in the bank. I was just scrolling on my YouTube yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I was just scrolling and seeing one of the homies that was from my block that I grew up with. I seen him on YouTube in my shorts. You know what I'm saying? And this is one of the homies that I grew up with. They got a job when we was young. Cause we all started getting jobs young. I was just the youngest one out my crew to do it. But after I did it, my crew was like, you know what? Fuck it, we need to get a job too. And everybody in my crew started following suit. They started getting jobs. You know what I'm saying? Well, with them getting jobs, they all follow suit. Having a job also give you character as well. You know what I'm saying? You definitely start tightening up when you start working a job. Cause it's not like the streets. The streets is the same shit, doing the same thing with the same people. You know what I'm saying? That's the streets. It's the same old with the streets. So you don't never have to change up when you in the streets. Just be you, be ready. You know what I'm saying? Be on that tip. That's the streets. When it comes to a job, it's the complete opposite. They don't need you to be tough, man. They need you to get the job done and shut your mouth. You know what I'm saying? When shit get done, then you start running your mouth and get paid for it. In the streets, they don't work like that. You only get paid after you carry out a job. And that job can cost you your life. But this is what you're dealing with out there. As opposed to a job, you safe. You safe. Your car is in a parking lot, safe. Don't gotta worry about nobody crashing into it, shit like that, because that's what happened when you in the streets. Your car parked on the street, somebody fuck around, hit your car. Parked car. And the D it happened all day, every day. Why is that? Because everybody in Detroit be drunk. So everybody riding around drunk, crash into your shit while your shit parked on the street. Smack your shit. I done seen it happen so many times. It's ridiculous. I done seen it happen. I remember I came out the house one day with my dog. I went to walk one of my dogs I had a few years ago. I was switching up dogs like a motherfucker at the time. But anyway, I had this brown pit bull at the time, right? And I was taking the dog out to walk him around. As soon as we came out the house, boom, it was a car that rolled right past me, right? I seen the car riding past me, but by the time it had hit the car, I had looked down. I was looking at the dog, but I remember the car passed me. So this person literally just drove past me and smacked into a damn car that was parked on the street. Just smacked that bitch, tow it up, broad daylight. People be drunk. You know what I'm saying? I went and walked the dog. By the time I came back, the police out there, they filed a report, all this shit. Person drunk. That's just what it is. So I was looking at little shit like that. Like, damn, my car be safe if I'm at work. It's in this little parking lot, you know what I'm saying, closed off and shit. So I don't got to worry about nothing happening to my car. And I'm making money. Legit. I don't got to go rob nobody. I don't got to shoot no dice. You know what I'm saying? I don't got to do none of that shit. I don't got to sell no phones. I don't got to do none of that shit. I could just go work a job. That's what I was doing. But I was doing both. I was working the job and I was in the streets. I was doing both. See, the difference is with the guys that I'm talking about that made it out working early and why I went another way because when they got jobs, they was done with the streets. Me, I started working at 12 years old. So I was, just really getting in the streets at that time. So I've been doing both. You know what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of shit happened to me. That's why I got stabbed. That's why I got shot up. That's why I went to prison. All type of shit. Like a lot of shit was happening because I was still in the streets, and I go to work. I go work a 9 to 5 with no problem. and then boom, be right back in the streets. So what you got to know is when you be in the streets, it costs you. You're going to lose something being in the streets. You're going to lose something. And, I had to take my losses. And, like I said, I looked around me, all the guys I grew up with that was working jobs, all the niggas was successful. I'm like, yeah, they inspired me to be on my game. You know what I'm saying? And all of them, they own boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. And it's all because they started working jobs young and they left the streets alone. You know what I'm saying? And all the guys that didn't leave the streets alone, them niggas either over there broke, trying to get a job, or they dead or in jail. All them niggas. All of them that didn't decide to get a job and just stayed in the streets, all of them. They broke, in jail, or dead. While all the ones that was working jobs, all of them is elite players. 100K and up type niggas. You know what I'm saying? Current day. And all of them alive, healthy, all of that shit. The streets versus a job. Which one is you? You know what I'm saying? And hopefully this message, got across to the youngins that's coming up. Listen, if anything I said didn't make sense to you, take this right now. Get a job. I swear to God, get a job. Just work. It don't matter where you get a job at. Just get a job and just work. The harder you work, the more money you gonna make. And the harder you work, the less time you got in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Just work a job. You will see. By the time you get to my age, you will understand what working a job will do for you. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to being out here in the streets. Cause that shit gonna come to an end one day. You and your crew, y'all gotta move off that block one day. Y'all gotta go. That's just how life go like that. You and your crew gotta get off that block one day. So I'm just telling you for future purposes. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and get out the streets right now. Get a job. Work hard. Collect your checks. Count your money. That's all you got to do. You will realize real quick how the streets wasn't there for you when you was there for the streets. That's why this is about the streets versus a job. Look, let me tell you some real shit before I end this, right? 6 years ago, 2019, right? I was fucked up, right? Fucked up. So I was donating plasma. You know what I'm saying? I ain't do it a whole lot. I did it a few times, you know what I'm saying? But it was one time I went to go donate, right? Before I get there, let me tell you about this guy. I done told y'all before about this guy. This is the drug dealer from my hood. He was fucking his man's mama while his man's was in prison. You know what I'm saying? This drug dealer nigga, he was up there and he was dealing drugs in the hood. You know what I'm saying? He had got his man's mama while his man was in prison, all that shit. He was that nigga. Riding around in Benz's, all type of shit. He was the big time drug dealer, you know. All right, now fast forward. I'm at the blood bank. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to donate, right? While I'm in there, guess who I see? Him, the big time drug dealer. at the blood bank, donating, doing the same shit I was doing. And he was the big time drug dealer. Had all the money, had all the girls. Like I said, he had his man's mama. You know what I'm saying? He was popping. He was that nigga. He had it all. You know what I'm saying? Ain't want for shit, ain't need for shit. Was paying his mama bills, all type of shit. He was that nigga. And then it's like 10 plus years later, he donating plasma. You know what I'm saying? This is what the streets will get you. You know what I'm saying? I took so many losses in my life because of my bad decisions that I made by being in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Just catching my case alone, it violated me from a lot of shit. I can't do a lot of things that the average person can do. You know what I'm saying? Because of my record. So I had to deal with it a whole lot that I was getting rejected from a lot of shit. So I had to learn how to be my own boss. You know what I'm saying? Man, look, it was a journey. You know what I'm saying? And that's my point. Like the streets will take you through there. If you make it out the streets, you gonna get a scar on your body that you can't get rid of from that shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the streets did for me. It stopped me from a lot of shit that I could do. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't even carry a damn gun. I just got to get bust up. You feel me? If I get caught with a gun, 5 years automatically. Automatically. I signed the gun law. And then when I get to prison, if the parole board want to flop me, they can. And I could do more time. All because I just got one. You know what I'm saying? While y'all can walk around free with them bitches, I can't even carry one. It's against state law. I signed state law. So this is what the streets do for you. And this is what a job do for you. A job will make you an elite player. One day you gonna look up, you working, you gonna look up, you gonna be that motherfucker. You gonna be that bad bitch, or you gonna be that nigga, you gonna be whatever. By the time you get to my age, you gonna be that. For sure. If you work, just grind your ass off. Just work. Shit, before you get my age. With today's, revenue, how things go, you can flip that shit real quick and, get that shit in no time. But by the time you get my age, you'll be straight for sure. You know. So use that tool right now while you young, and even to the older folks, do the same shit. If you still in the streets, cancel that shit. It's over with. The streets is dead. You know what I'm saying? On Beezy. The streets is dead, man. Let that shit go. Go get a job. Fuck it. Start from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no point in being ashamed. Nah, you done did everything. Fuck it. Go get a job. Start from the bottom. You feel me? Come back up. You a hustler. You gonna flip that shit. You know what I'm saying? Just do what it do. Spend another live stream, roll up a pour up. So get your blunt rolled and your drink poured.